Hey everyone, this is Tarek Morshed with the Morshed Group at Sothebys, where we specialize in representing entrepreneurs and founders. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Home Podcast. This podcast focuses on Austin's most successful men and women and their business journeys, as well as the home and the entrepreneurial home that empowers them to thrive both in business and in life. On today's episode, we have Jonathan Hewitt of Life Keto Martial Arts and also Parenting and Life Education. Jonathan, before we give you an opportunity to talk about the business and what it is today, as well as the entrepreneurial journey that got you there, I'm gonna jump in here and just speak a little bit to our audience about our relationship. Folks, for me, this is definitely a special episode. Jonathan and I go back, I would say, it feels like about 12 to 15 years now, which is insane to think that much time has passed. And Jonathan and Lana, and they have been referred to us to help represent around some real estate long time ago, and there was just this instant bond around growth, learning, really looking at life, looking at ourselves as human beings, and how do we grow and prosper and succeed in every facet of life. And it was just always a ton of simpatico. Since then, this relationship has evolved into many other layers where there's been mentor-mentee roles, there's been friendship roles, there's been real estate advice and investments, and even talks about development, and just all these really interesting conversations and roles that we've either thought about or played with or considered and grown from. And then, in a very special way to me, almost this full circle experience where, he is my sensei. My daughter and I, Asia, we go to Life Keto, and we have been part of that community in Life Keto Martial Arts for, I would say, almost a year and a half now. And to the entrepreneurs and founders that are listening to this here today and with us today, I had gone to a business coaching seminar for about 3 days, real intense, with an amazing business coach called Gina Malakan Long. And it's a very customized 3 days, and one of the things that came out of that, and I paid her way too much money not to listen, was that she had assigned to me to find a martial arts that had a balance of both, self-awareness as well as actual martial arts, and that it really, for me, needed to be a 50-50 balance almost, or some version of that. And interestingly, for years we had talked about me joining Life Keto and really discovering that, because I knew that's probably what it was, and here, life had come full circle. And so my daughter and I, we joined, and my daughter kind of was a little bit for the first 3-4 months, had an opportunity to leave, but then we just both were getting so much from the growth, the connection there, both learning martial arts, but in a way that was almost secondary to finding a place of peace, connection, self-reflection, growth, and learning how to defend yourself from that place. And that was really a powerful experience. And now if we miss, we're really unhappy that we missed it. And it's just been an amazing experience for you to be my sensei and have that role in my life now. And so I'll probably refer to him from now on in this podcast as that. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that and just thank you for being on this, because it's special for me given our relationship over all this time. So I'm going to stop dominating this conversation and let you speak a little bit about, Life Keto Martial Arts, as well as Parenting and Life Education, and just give our audience a little bit of a understanding of what the business or the businesses are, sure. Your role in them, and etc. And then we'll kind of get into some deeper questions.
Okay. Well, I guess I would start, first of all, thank you for having me here. I have a lot of respect and appreciation for you as a human being, and just in the dojo, I love having you at Life Keto, and just in our interaction whenever we see each other, it's always of depth and value.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
In life, it's important to me to have connections that have value and not just the surface.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as far as Life Keto, key means inner strength or spirit. And so life keto means how do each one of us live life from that inner strength, that inner wisdom, that inner peace, if you will. And how do we live from there so we honor that in ourselves, we honor that in relationships and everything that we do. So it's really the core of everything is that. And as far as a business, anything we do, it has to be aligned with that as far as what we're teaching, how we're teaching it, the projects we do. And so martial arts is the main thing. We have a few schools and we have hundreds of students, and that's the medium where we teach these life skills through, mostly because the physical part really allows you to internalize and improve your internal operating system of how you're living. So by doing it physically, your brain is able to internalize it more, and your body, obviously. So that's a main way, but we also do it through parenting. We have an award-winning parenting book that my wife and I wrote years ago. And
it's amazing, by the way.
And so that really gives a model of how we apply our system, if you will, to parenting. So I do parenting workshops. And what I like to do is get a psychologist in town. I have a few different ones I work with, and we'll do a workshop together where they'll bring their experience and what I do, and we make it a very experiential workshop, and they always add the science and everything in from their perspective. Nice. And the life education is the core of it. So I love doing adult personal development life education workshops. I love doing them for businesses, going in and saying, hey, for example, I did it for a big doctor's firm in town. And they say, hey, we want to work on our teamwork and patient care. So I go in with our model, and I go in there and I help them improve how's everyone functioning, how do they feel and do their best at work, and then how do they take care of their patients and work as a team, that collaboration. So whatever it may be for a business, or I went into Lake Travis, for example, a couple weeks ago, they had district-wide teacher training.
Okay, got it. Lake Travis Independent School District.
Sorry, so I went there,
okay.
And so I did 2 workshops for their teachers on preventing teacher burnout, and how do you find flow in your class and take care of yourself and create the best class environment. So we can take this model and apply it to anything, and I love that. We work with 3-year-olds through adults. So young kids, teenagers, adults, the same model, but applying it to your own internal operating system, and then whether it's school or business. So that's kind of an overview of the martial arts, the parenting, and the life education.
Got it. So it almost sounds as though there's this, I'm hearing a few things here. One, it's really having almost like an internal operating platform as individuals and human beings.
Definitely.
Right. As kind of almost the foundational piece, and bringing a ton of value around that. And then parlaying that into different situations. It could be in a business situation where it's a company and there needs to be a lot of work around team, as well as we as leaders and as entrepreneurs and founders, right? Or something like a bigger organization, almost a huge living organism like Lake Travis Independent School District, that at the end of the day still has the same things, but if we're really working on that part of us.
Right on. Yeah, because you probably heard that.
That's powerful.
Sorry for interrupting.
No.
You probably heard that expression, like wherever you go, there you are, right?
And
if you think about that, we hear these things like, oh yeah, that's cute. But really, if you think about what does that mean? So here you are, right?
Yeah.
Right now, okay, you go off to your meeting, whatever you do next, there you are. And so if you don't have an internal way of improving your operating system, being aware of the things internally, your thoughts, your feelings, all the things that get in the way, with you being fully in that moment, being the most purposeful, valuable person that you can be, then you're very limited. So if you're aware of that and you know how to work with it and use those limitations to develop strengths and actually learn to operate in a way where you're checking in and reflecting, say, where am I at right now? How do I improve this? And that's what our whole system is about, and we have specific ways of doing that, right? But so you take that into your business, and whether I work with a surgeon, for example, right? And for him, it's very aware, like, okay, this guy's got to be very present, very connected to his breath, very aware, very connected to his patient, right? So this precision of our operating system applies to everything.
That's wow.
I mean, parenting, family life is huge, right? How are we showing up as parents?
Oh, big time.
How are we showing up to our family of our work with our team?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so it's critical to start. That's the spine.
Yeah, I like the way you put that earlier when we were discussing, how that is actually your spine. I say foundation, but the spine I think is even more powerful because the spine truly connects to everything.
Exactly.
It's your central nervous system, in terms of messaging throughout, right?
It's the foundation in the spine. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's everything. Yeah. It's how you're living, how you're seeing life.
No, that's awesome. And it's so true, you know, I mean, even when I'm going through my day-to-day, you know, things are going great, and then all of a sudden something ramrods me, and now who am I going to be in that moment,
That's right.
which has a reverberating effect on my team, the people I work with, my daughter and how I show up with her. And so it's really amazing that you guys actually have tools that you're creating to hack into the moment of figuring out who you're being and be that present, and then have some tools to really work through that if need be. So you're able to constantly shift is kind of what I'm hearing.
That's right on.
Is there maybe like one nugget of like a small example of that you might be able to give real quick to our audience?
There are many, but
without getting into the secret sauce.
Yeah, I would say one critical thing is your breath. Like I've been fortunate. Many years ago, I was like, you know what, I'm done with martial arts. I'm just going to do personal development and work with businesses and schools. And then I met these guys that I'm not personally really into like fighting at all, but their job was they're professional warriors from Russia, and they're known to be some of the best warriors in the world. When I met them, they were like so calm and peaceful. When you watch them move, it's like watching dancers, but you know, they're doing combative arts, right? And so one of their keys to everything is the breath. And so the first time I went up there, the head teacher was like, he didn't tell us this, otherwise I probably wouldn't have gone. But he literally had us do 4.5 hours of push-ups, squats, sit-ups, and leg raises nonstop. And none of us could do it, but the whole purpose was to learn to use our breathing to regulate our mental, physical, and emotional state. It was all about the breath. And he was teaching us different ways of breathing. So a general thing, there's a lot of this now in medicine, and it's just becoming much more prevalent everywhere in life. But the basic thing is, if you think about it, when at the end of the day, that long day, you get on your couch or whatever, right? You don't lie back and breathe in. You go, so you're breathing out. So using your exhale to calm your body and brain, your nervous system down. So longer, slower exhales will help you calm down. If you're tired, need more energy, more inhale or faster breathing wakes up your body more in your brain, right? So for example, if I'm really stressed, I'm like, and then so longer exhales. If I'm really tired, like this morning, taking my daughter to school, I felt a little tired, so I was doing faster, like inhale, exhales. I don't want to do it now because mucus, but but it's, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, if it wasn't a video podcast, it wouldn't be a problem.
Well, like kind of like yoga, breath of fire. But the main thing is faster breathing, right? Even holding your breath, because you're just waking your system up.
Got it. So it'd be something like
more through the nose.
Oh, okay.
Mouth and nose, but not. Or. So just waking yourself up, or just
powerful.
Hold your breath. It wakes you up a little bit. Breathe in, squeeze your muscles. So what it is, we have a system which we can talk about later if you like. But the basic idea is checking yourself throughout the day. Right now, where am I at? And if I'm using the breathing, say for example, what kind of breathing rhythm? Do I already feel great? Okay, keep calm, smooth inhales and exhales. Do I need to wake up a little bit? Faster breathing or hold your breath. Do I need to calm down? Longer, slower exhales? Shorter inhales.
Got it.
So you have to find the rhythm for you that really makes you feel the best.
That makes sense. Awesome. Thank you. I think that's a really awesome nugget for people to even just take away from this podcast that I think is really impactful. The other thing I just want to bring full circle is everything I heard you talk about. It's almost as though you're really getting into people's purpose and passion and figuring out where that is because of the way you've approached everything you've done. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in terms of your entrepreneurial journey, but I just wanted to presence that from what you were sharing earlier. So tell us a little bit about what does Life Keto Martial Arts look like? What does the parenting and life education look like in terms of, organizationally, how many places or locations and, or how many workshops are you guys doing throughout the year? Just give us a little bit of sense of that and what the team looks like.
So we've opened up our first location in Westlake over 26 years ago. And so it's been quite a while. We've got thousands and thousands of all age people in Westlake and the Austin area. And then so we have hundreds of students there. And then about 6 years ago or so, we opened a school in Lakeway. And at first, I was like, Lakeway, I didn't really know a lot about being out there and anything, and I was just amazed with the growth that's happening out there. As far as it's amazing, all the new buildings and families, and just so it's been an incredible place to open a new school. I say new because it's compared to 26 years is new, but still it's relatively new. So we have another location in Lakeway, and we're building roots out there, and it's a really great community. And then we have those satellite programs. We have one in Circle C. We have one at different local schools, like preschools and Montessori schools and youth organizations. So we have some satellite programs that are specific for those schools.
I see.
But Circle C is open to anyone in South Austin.
Okay.
So that one day a week. And then we have about 4 of us that are the main instructors.
Okay.
And then we have academy director, and then we have some people, students that have been with us for years, teenagers, college students, that we hire part-time as well as support. So. And then my wife, Lana, also the co-founder.
Awesome.
Who helps a lot marketing, operations, all the money management components.
Got it. Yeah, she's the real meister behind it all,
right?
It's
always a team.
It's always a team. It's always a team. Okay, got it. And then, so, if I'm looking at it purely from a business perspective, it sounds as though you guys are really focused in on areas where there's a definitely family component. And it sounds as though your, client, your customers on the Life Keto martial arts side is, parents, teenagers, kids. So it's interesting. You've got from a business perspective, you've got almost like a lifespan client is your business model, which is really interesting. And I would actually say that, even from my daughter and I being involved, I've really gotten to see how powerful that is for you guys, because it's been, where I all of a sudden see where Asia, that's my daughter, has this platform to lean in on and learn through for the rest of her life. That's really powerful, and she's hooked in, as am I, because it's a really powerful respite for me on my end of the weeks. And so, I'm 48, my daughter's 12, and yet we're clients, and we almost go together a lot of times, right? So it sounds like it's very kind of family-oriented or person-oriented through a life journey, as well as in communities where there is a lot of that.
Definitely. It's interesting for me. I don't know if you can relate to this or not, because some people are very, very strategic from the get-go of their business.
Yeah.
For some, it's more organic, and that was my situation where. So all of a sudden, I was just very into personal development, and then all of a sudden, tons of families started coming, right, and all ages, and you have doctors, mothers, fathers, kids, teenagers coming on their own, or a kid will come, the kid stops, and the parent's been there for years, or vice versa. So you have this whole, but recently, past few years, I'm like, wow, this is really a family job. And I think part of it, I've been a dad for almost 9 years now, so that really has a big impact. And you realize if you talk to anybody, the most important thing for them really is their family. It's the most common thing you hear. And so more now, I'm like, wow, how do we really support the whole family, individually and as a team?
Nice.
So now we're doing more family things. Like next week, actually, we're going to a family retreat in Costa Rica, right?
Yes.
So it's Life Keto and Yoga, and the idea is how do we bring families together,
right,
as a community of their family, with other families together for like a very conscious, fulfilling, and relaxing retreat vacation.
Nice.
So I'm looking more and more of that, of how do we bring the families together, because that's the greatest joy and often the greatest challenges for people.
Right. Definitely.
How they're parenting who they are, how their family's behaving, right, and how do we work together. So it's very interesting to me to address all of that.
Nice. Very nice. And then you guys also have a book, right? Tell us a little bit about that. About the
parenting book?
Yes.
So at one point, you always hear this in business, like what are the most common things you hear, right, from your customers, your clients? So for many years, parents were saying, when I see my child here, what they're learning, I love it so much, but I don't know how to take it home. And at that point, I wasn't doing a lot of adult personal development workshops or adult parenting workshops in this way. And they kept saying, how can we do this? And so we thought, wow, we need to write a book to help support parents in practicing how we teach what we teach. Not only what we teach, but how we teach. Being an educator is similar to a parent. It's more personal when it's your child, but it's still the same foundation. So we came up with our system based on parenting pillars, and then also life education tools for yourself, but also that you're sharing with your child.
No, that's powerful. And, I just want to acknowledge that you guys wrote and got that book published when, nowadays you hear of a lot of people being able to do that, and the barriers to entry around that are so much, they almost don't exist near as much. You guys did this, I almost want to say 8 years ago, 9 years ago, when very few people were accomplishing that. And it's actually been a very published and very well received book out in the public. So I just wanted to, for our audience, really, mention that, but also because I think it really ties into your business model.
Definitely. And it was neat too, the organic of that, because so people said this thing about how do we do this? And so for me, I've always been into developing curriculum and questioning like, well, how do we really become happy and fulfilled or be a good parent?
It makes sense.
So for me, it was all about the curriculum. And then my wife, she's more strategic and more structured than I may be sometimes.
Yeah.
So she said, that's great that you have this information, but we need to know the science behind it and have stories to back it up. A typical
makes sense.
book. I'm like, I don't care about that. I just want to give the information, right?
Right.
She's like, no. So she is really cute. One day she called me. She's like, you're either really right or really wrong. I'm reading some scientific studies on things that you do. And I'm like, no, I know from my experience it's right. I can't say scientifically.
Right.
But she came back, you're really right. This is really true. So then we reached out to other parenting experts and had a lot of people endorse the book and were really touched by the book. And then won quite a few, I forgot, 2 or 3 national awards.
Yep.
And so it really got acknowledged. And the thing for me about it, I think the reason being is it is a very truthful, organic thing of like, hey, we're all here together. We're all human beings. We're all parents. We all have our challenges. Here are some things that can help you as a person and a parent with yourself, and also understand the relationship with your child and how to best support them.
That makes a lot of sense. And just for our audience, the book title, just so it's very clear.
Life Keto Parenting, Tools to Raise Happy, Confident Kids from the Inside Out, which is critical.
Yes, absolutely. And it is an awesome book, folks.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, awesome. So let's move into a little bit about, your entrepreneurial journey. What had you become an entrepreneur? How did you end up here? Give our audience a little bit of that journey and experience.
Yeah. No, it's funny when I said organic. Talk about organic. So I grew up right outside New York City in Connecticut, and most people there, work in the city. They're top executives, this type of thing. And so I didn't know there was another way of living. This was it. You just do this. So right out of high school, that first summer out of high school, I started working for Merrill Lynch on Wall Street. And I knew a guy that got me an interview, and I got the job. And literally, zero experience. A lady was going out to have her child, for maternity leave, and she was the assistant for 3 brokers. And I went and took over this full-time job for a summer, knowing nothing, right? And so I just got thrown in right away. I started observing. One broker was just traveling around getting new clients. And that was his whole thing, not taking care of his clients. One person was very strategic by the math and the charts. And so I was just observing how people are operating. As far as in a business, right? And not really knowing what was happening, but learning the skills, but not really at that time having my own awareness of my operating system. So I was just in a reactive mode.
Makes sense.
I worked for them throughout college for in a semester. I went to Emory in Atlanta, I worked there, and I came back and worked in New York again. And then at one point... And
what was your role there real quick?
Every summer was different. One summer I was a sales assistant to 3 brokers.
Okay,
one time I worked in troubleshooting. And it's so interesting even that, seeing the salespeople that were making most of the money, right? And the operating people the next summer, the operating people were always judging these people are judging these people. And again, seeing, oh wow, how do you get 2 people together, 2 teams working together?
Huge.
Right? So I was very aware of all that. And then I think my 3rd summer or 4th, whatever it was, some guy comes up to me and goes, hey, listen, I'm 30, I'm rich, I have an ulcer, I have an awful marriage. Get out of here while you can. And it really hit me.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. It just hit me. And then I studied overseas for a semester, and my school wouldn't take my credits for economics and all that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to change my path. And so that was my junior year. I decided to switch to psychology instead of economics. And I graduated college, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to work on Wall Street. What am I going to do? And I had this thing that I truly wanted to figure out, how do we actually be happy as human beings? How do we be fulfilled and not just go through our list of the day? So that led to intense training in personal development and meditation and mindfulness and martial arts and all different practices, and really trying to understand what is the problem. Why are we all wanting to be happy, but so many people are truly not deeply happy and fulfilled? So that took me on this whole journey, which was incredible.
And that was about 30 years ago.
Yeah, I graduated college in 87.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I got really into that. And then when I moved to Austin 26 years ago, a friend of mine's like, hey, open a martial arts school. You want to be business partners in it? And so I came here and I was like, wow, this is an incredible city. And we started working, and there was no business plan or model or anything. It was just, all right, I'm here in classes. Oh, wow, the room's too full. I have to open another day. And all of a sudden, we just had hundreds of students, and we had no business model or infrastructure, really.
Yeah.
So I've heard there's different ways people say it. I heard this one consultant say there's 5 M's. Your message, your marketing, your manufacturing, or for us as classes, your money management, and your managing.
That's so cool. Right? I've never heard that. The 5 M's.
Yeah, so it's a really simple way, right? So even today, I'm like, okay, our messaging is way better than it used to be, but still, it can always get better, right?
Right.
Our marketing, for years, we didn't do any marketing because it was all word of mouth, and that's great, but it's not great if you're not getting the numbers you need, and all of a sudden, like, you don't have marketing. How do we do that, right?
Makes sense.
So we're continuing. That evolves all the time, right?
Absolutely.
From Google to social media to whatever.
To TikTok.
Yeah, to TikTok. I'm like, tick what? Yeah. So, looking at that, and then the management's a very interesting thing for me because people that work with us really, in my mind, have to feel like, wow, this operating system that we can talk about is something that I really want for myself. They have to be living it to really be sharing it, right?
Makes sense.
Correctly.
Makes sense.
So learning how to not just lead in that way, but also somehow bring a team together and really work together, and how you train people properly, but not too much. There's
Makes
all
sense.
that. And then the money part, for me, it was just, I'm teaching, money's coming in, I'm living, but there wasn't any awareness of like P&L, and how do you actually work with a business and see what do we need to make this business successful for everybody, right?
Makes sense.
And so there's that whole component. And then our classes, which is our product, how do we constantly improve how we're teaching, what we're teaching, so it's always growing and we're always inspired.
Got it. And so all that started about 26 years ago. Here you are, you've kind of crafted those 5 M's, and like you said, there's always room for improvement. And right now, it's you and your wife are kind of the owners of the company, correct?
Yeah, it's totally correct. Yeah. And somehow in my head, I don't just say this for to say it. I really try to feel like we're a team.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because what I was going to say right after that is you guys are the owners. My experience with you guys as a team, being a student at the dojo, is that truly every teacher, everybody who's working behind the scenes is so bought in, right, to what you said earlier, like this is what really works for them in their life. And because of that, they're very passionate almost naturally in the business. And your team almost operates in the way you've set this business up as an entrepreneur, intentionally or not, or what the end product is that it's a team that feels like a family. And it's a team that feels like there's not one big boss, and it's really integrated horizontally in a powerful way, in a way that really works actually. Whereas in a lot of organizations that doesn't work. So, and then about how many students do you guys have in the business now, and what does that look like?
Yeah, it varies. Right now we have in Westlake a high 300, sometimes 400. In Lakeway we have 110, 15.
Okay.
And then we have other little satellites around.
So let's call it about 500, which is, wow, that's a lot of students for the team that's managing. It's really amazing what you guys are doing. It's really great work.
It's a lot of moving pieces. That's the thing for me. I love all of it. And I think this is one challenge for entrepreneurs is, okay, what is the most valuable thing for me to do with my time right now?
Right.
Again. So I get home last night from teaching late, put my daughter to bed, and not only do I have the big pieces of business, but I have emails from parents that are concerned with their kids. So I'm emailing the parents and getting very detailed and specific with the child and this issue and that issue. And so it's a lot of many different things.
That makes sense. As we definitely know as entrepreneurs, it's always juggling 20 hats, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And how much of that can you delegate to the right person, right seat?
Yeah.
Right.
So I love that thing when people, entrepreneurs know this, but people say like, what is the thing that you know is like your thing that you're really drawn to and you're really good at that, and then you have to find someone else, that thing that you're not, that is their thing.
Absolutely.
Right? And so they just feel, wow, I want to do that thing.
Yeah.
And this is natural fit that happens. So then it's mutually beneficial. It's not somebody feeling like they're doing something for someone else.
That makes sense. No, absolutely. And for our listeners, as well as maybe if it's something you ever want to look into, there's a really powerful organization. They focus on small to mid-sized businesses called Cultural Index. And they really help you zoom in on exactly what you just said. Really figuring out what right people, right seats from a place of like what someone's really naturally good at as well as what they're passionate about. and then driving to that and getting those kinds of hires on the team.
Great.
It's a phenomenal
cultural
index. I would highly recommend anybody. It's been a game changer for us so far.
Great.
It's been a game changer.
Thanks for
anyway, so let's get into a few other questions. We always have a little bit of a real estate bent on the show, but we revolve it around how has it impacted your life or business in terms of real estate and as an entrepreneur. So tell us a little bit about, how is Austin's real estate market impacted, whether it's your business or your personal life in a way that impacts the business. Are you having to live in a place where you're having to drive all over town because of the market and what's affordability? So tell us a little bit about that, the locations of your business, anything you want to share about.
Sure. As far as personally, you've helped me with that. And it was like 6 or 7 years ago, we found a place that we love. We found our first place, but we found a place that we love living in. And the thing I love about it is quiet, but it's close enough to everything, right? So we get around. Lakeway is 25 minutes for me, but Westlake's 10, 12 minutes depending on traffic. So I feel like we're very centrally located, but we also have the quiet. So I love that.
Nice.
Be close to come home and have space because I do so much with people.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then as far as our schools, again, it was my previous business partner when we first opened many years ago, he had chosen Westlake. And for me, my thing at the time was just give me a room anywhere and I'll teach and I'll make it valuable for people, right? I'll do the best I can. But then I saw, this Westlake at the time still is, but I would say less as far as less younger families moving in there, I think.
Got it.
I mean, you probably tell me statistically, but I think it is. So that was great with families. And then now a lot of younger families are going out to Lakeway, right? So we want to be in areas where there are a lot of families who really would like and benefit from what we have to offer.
That makes sense.
So when we went to Lakeway, again, it was kind of organic because some guy called me and asked me to do it, to open a school out there. But it's perfect because it really is a great location. And then Circle C, people have asked for years, hey, can you open a place down south? And so we're not in a position right now, our staffing and team and structure, to have a third location right now, full-time, like we have the other two. But we're able to teach at the Circle C Rec Center, so we have classes down there, and then some schools. So the real estate is huge, right? It's where people are, right? I remember years ago, this guy opened this beautiful martial arts school. He put like $1 million into it. Phenomenal. Out in Beacades, but nobody was there yet. So he called me and said, hey, I have to close my business. Do you want to buy any of my stuff? I went out there, I was like, this place is so beautiful. He was like 10 years too soon. Right?
Yeah.
So real estate, and you always study what's happening in the next 5, 6, 10 years.
Right.
So things like that are really important.
Absolutely.
So I'm thankful that somehow we ended up where we are because I didn't strategically plan.
Right. But it's great that on the back end you really see for your business and how real estate's impacted it and where you need to be as a business. And I think that's important as business owners to really look at that. If you've got product that never comes into Austin, it's all online, then maybe your decision around real estate impacting your business is really more, well, hey, I just need to make sure I'm not on the road for 2 hours, because as an entrepreneur, business owner, that is massive.
Yep.
It's even more impactful to you and your business than if you were just an employee of the business, right?
Definitely.
And that's not to minimize being an employee of the business, right? There's an integral role, but really understanding what your needs are around that as a business is very important, as well as, like you said, you're 10 minutes to your Westlake location. If you can be at your work in that much time, and it's that little time on the road where you can go create and be in flow and be the business owner versus be on the road for 50 minutes, that's massive. That's massive.
And I think one thing that I've learned, and I think I try to observe and learn, and I think we're all very similar but very unique also. For some person, maybe being on the road for 2 hours is the best thing for them because they actually use that time wisely to create and do something that they don't have the structure or space or discipline, whatever it may be,
makes sense
to do elsewise. So I think if we get clear on, we want to prioritize our time, make the most valuable, what can we bring to our family or our business, and for us, what is that infrastructure?
That makes sense.
Because I don't get to be in the car that much other than Lakeway sometimes, right? And so sometimes I'm like, wow, I have 25 minutes to learn something.
That's awesome.
What am I going to learn today, right?
That's awesome.
So it's just all how we approach it.
It's a good point. Yes, whereas in my business, I'm like on the phone in the car the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's not good for me, right? So anyway, Okay, well, let's switch into, as an entrepreneur, our surrounding environment is so important in our productivity, getting into flow and such. So tell me a little bit about what works for you guys, whether it's in the business and how things are set up there, right? Or whether it's in your home office, or even if you're in a co-work space or a coffee shop, like what kind of environment really propels you to produce well?
I would love to answer that two different ways, one internally and one externally.
Okay, which is great, because one of the next questions is how do you get into flow, and it almost sounds like you might be addressing that.
So maybe I'll address the internal first.
Okay.
So as you know, in Life Keto, we have a model that we use for getting into flow, if you will. There have been books written about it, and I agree with them about the external, about finding the perfect challenge that'll help you get in your flow, and there's certain things on the outside to set up. Totally true. But to me, more important is the internal. So I want to address that one first.
Okay.
So in any moment, like this moment, we talk about just have three big buckets to make it simple for people.
Okay.
We could be operating like ice, where we're too tight, we're forcing things, whether we're nervous or we're angry, whatever it is, our system is too tight, right? So that we call that ice. So kids can picture and visualize it, grown-ups can. It's cute, like I have a little kid, Sensei Jonathan, it was really icy today, and then I have an executive come in, hey, Sensei Jonathan, I was at work today, it was really icy, and then
Yeah, definitely.
So then the flip side of that is when we're not engaging enough with life. Lazy, disengaged, bored, all that puddle. So these two extremes, if you will, too much, too little. The middle we call the river, where you're present, you're doing your best, you're putting the right amount of effort into what you're doing, and you're finding that flow. So you're not concentrating too hard or too little. That flow internal state, right? You're paying attention to the task at hand, you're doing your best, you're learning from what's happening in the moment. And the way we regulate and deal with our ice, puddle, and river is our 3 B's, our body, our breathing, and our brain. So if you're feeling like exhausted, what do you do with your body? Or if you're feeling down and depressed, right? So that architecture sends a message to my brain to feel this way more.
Got it.
It goes back and forth. So just putting your position in your body in a healthy position sends a message like, hey, I'm ready to engage with life.
Makes sense.
They say that average brain, human brain, has 25 to 75,000 thoughts a day. That most of those thoughts you also thought yesterday, and unconsciously most of them are negative about yourself.
Oh, wow.
So if we have, and all the time we do workshops, I ask people, who believes this to be true? Almost everyone raises their hand.
Yeah.
So we all want to be happy, successful, productive, but meanwhile, hey, you're not good enough, you messed up, whatever it may be, right? So knowing that's happening, so we have to train ourselves to keep putting our attention on what we're doing and find the right concentration, the right effort, back consistently. Where am I at? Okay, but not like this, it's too tight, it's ice, right?
Got
so
it.
Constantly training yourself to be present and engage and coaching yourself. Oh, I messed up. What can I learn from it? It's okay, keep going. Instead of getting in the negative spiral loop, right?
Got it. Which could be more of your puddle side.
Yeah, or ice. Man, you're
or
so
ice.
messed up. Why do you always make that mistake?
Yeah, makes sense.
So body, brain, and then breathing. So like I mentioned earlier, we have different breathing tools we use, but there's something called the vagus nerve, which is really big in medicine now. They're talking about how your vagal nerve goes from the base of your skull down to your organs into your gut. And so basically you want to have vagal tonality where you have wakefulness and relaxation. So you do longer exhales and inhales. They say inhale for 4, exhale for 8, but we all have to find our way.
Got
so
it.
body, breathing, brain. So throughout the day, like right now, if I check in, how do I improve my internal river, my internal flow in this conversation?
Got it.
Right? So that is the thing to me that allows us to be in the biggest flow. And then externally, we have to know for ourselves, like I have sensory issues, right? So noise really distracts me. So I like to work in a very quiet environment. That really helps me focus in on creativity and being the most productive and most focused. Where some people love music or being out, like a couple authors are telling me that they work in coffee shops and in a group. I'm like, wow, I would never want to do that. I don't say never, but I wouldn't want to do that because I'm not going to be as productive.
Makes sense.
But for them, they are.
Right.
So we all have to find. For me, I go between sitting and standing. I like to work we have like open windows, so I like to work down by our kitchen where I'm standing at the counter or the bar, and then I sit down and I'm staying active. I have like a little balance board there where I do what I need to do to keep myself active and present. Nice. And then I find the flow of like, for me, for example, in the morning I'm more creative, so that's when I work on big projects.
Nice.
In the evening, more operational things. So finding out for us the structure and when, and then trying to have blocks of time too, like, okay, 2 hours I'm working on this new curriculum or this book or whatever it may be.
Right.
So I think
and actually framing that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with a big consultant years ago, and he said that was the most biggest effective things for people is to have blocks of time that you focusing on this one project and nothing else.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, you give us like 4 things there in terms of both, flow internally as well as just real tactical, whether it's in your environment or just things you can actually choose. So those are like some real powerful nuggets. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing those.
Still practicing them every day.
Yeah, no, and I see that in you too. I see that in you. So unless there's something else you'd like to share, I mean, this has been an awesome episode. I was going to close us up and say a little bit about you guys and where to find you guys as well as ourselves. And I guess why don't I let you do that? Share with our listeners where they can find you online and so on.
Okay. Well, first I just want to say thank you for listening if you're here. And I think the thing is, whether it's our model or someone else's model, we all have to find a way to improve our internal operating system, because we're just reacting a lot of times in life, and that's not going to give us the true fulfillment that we want. So we're reacting, judging, instead of like, okay, how inside do I become very purposeful and have an operating system that allows me to prioritize who I am in each moment. And it's not fake, it's very authentic. Like, wow, I'm having a rough day. How do I work with that to improve who I am as a person? So I think that's the first thing that I really want to say. So whoever you may be, find something, whether it's through us or someone else, that helps you be able to become aware of and improve your internal operating system. Critical.
Spoken like a true sensei.
Yeah. As far as what we do, the martial arts is not hardcore. Like everything is about collaboration. So how do I be in that place? And if Tarek's my wrestling partner, how do I help him be in that place? And we work together for both of us to grow, like any relationship, a healthy, respectful, collaborative relationship. So that's why we do it through martial arts. And the martial arts we do is all about the flow. And then we do parenting workshops. We have a parenting book, as Tarek mentioned. And then I love doing life education workshops in businesses. Doesn't matter if I've been to doctor's office, psychologist's office, real estate offices. So it doesn't matter coming in and helping people improve the operating system of their employees, the teamwork, how do people learn to be in the flow more so they enjoy their work more and also they're more effective with their work. And so I love doing that, whether it's parents or teachers or business owners or business teams. So that's who we are. We're at lifeketo.com. Nice. And any questions, I'm Jonathan at lifeketo.com. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to support you any way I can.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's powerful. And I'm thinking you're definitely going to get some calls just because I think that there's a lot of value for me as an entrepreneur here and as our listeners on so many levels with what you guys are doing. I highly recommend to our audience, whether it's as an individual or as a parent or as a leader, that the work that's done at this dojo as well as holistically in all these other ways is really powerful work. It's been a big part of my growth. So thank you for joining us. You could always find us, our podcast and past podcasts at www.tarekmorshed.com. That will soon change to the morshedgroup.com as we have been operating under the Morshed Group for a while, but just hadn't made the website change. Of course, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and also on YouTube. And you can sign up on our YouTube channel to see these podcasts as well as other things too. Thanks for joining, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. And thank you for being here, Sensei.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.